We have a full connectivity. This battle station is fully operational. How you doing, guys? Welcome. Excuse me. Welcome back to the Ad and Beer Show. I, of course, am James, your hostess with the mostest. If I could stop coughing. We're good. We are ready to rock and roll. Guys, we got news. I'm not going to lie. This is your nightly stop for NFL and Detroit Lions content. You guys know, though, we like to talk little NFL off the rip of the show. We're going to talk about a real bummer, dude. Just an absolute bummer. Couldn't have said it better myself. Yahoo Sports. This sucks so bad. NFL World reacts as Chris Johnson reveals ALS diagnosis. Damn. Bro. That sucks. No matter who you are. I also am, you guys longtime viewers know, big Tennessee Titans fan. Also was a big Chris Johnson fan. It sucks, dude. This is a big kick in the old dingus. You know what I'm saying, dude? Big bummer when I seen this morning. We will discuss that. And then to pile on with the bad news, hitting more close to home. Sucks to be TA. Good on Brad Holmes. Lions release Terrion Arnold after corner's bond set at $1 million. I like it. We'll discuss, sound off in the comments section. Terrion Arnold's pretrial hearing offered a revealing look at the case against him. A to Z Sports has a nice little article here for us. Mike the Slipper Payton, Detroit Lions cornerback, Terrion Arnold's pretrial hearing revealed how new details about the prosecution's theory and the defense's strategy. We'll see what Mike the Slipper Payton, Lions beat writer, has for us over at A to Z Sports. And then, of course, more TA talk, because there's nothing else going on. Salary cap ramifications for Terrion Arnold's release, breaking down the finances and salary cap ramifications. Terrion Arnold's release from the Detroit Lions. Jeremy Reisman fired this off just this afternoon, 10 minutes to 6. We will see. Break it all down. We'll talk. It'll be, it'll be a show. You know what I'm saying? How you doing, Pennington Sasquatch? You got out of that ankle monitor because you had to play football. Is that off the table now? That's a very good point, dude, and a question that I also had. That's you make a good point, dude, because if he's not going to be available, why not just slap the old ankle monitor on him? But I do like the Brad Holmes maneuver. We'll discuss all that when we get into the show. If you haven't already, walk on over to that subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel. If you're new here, gets you access to Mad Hatter Nation, which is, of course, a bastion of sanity in a sea of nonsense. That's the chat over on YouTube. You got to be subscribed to get in on that right there. But we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Hit 900 last week, guys. Can we do the 1K by the start of the regular season? Can we go 1K? Can we get to the 1K mark come the start of the regular season? For that to have happened, I'm going to need you guys to do me another favor while you're rooting around in the bathtub underneath the video. Hit that share button. All right, hit that share button. If you don't have anybody to share it with, go ahead and just copy that link down on your clipboard, dude. It tells the algorithm the exact same thing as sharing it around on your social medias. Hit the like button, and if you want to take the thinking out of it for you, turn that notification bell on. It's going to send you a notification directly to your mobile device every single time we go live, Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 p.m., right here at YouTube, Rumble, and Kick. With a reminder, though, minor caveat this week, the Friday in observance of the holiday. Since I'm off of work, we're going to be off the show. But, maybe there'll be community posts for you to engage with. Now that all that's out of the way, thank you so much for all that stuff. We're going to hand it off to Jocko, and then we're going to get into the show.
If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well, then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
going on, Brent Supreme? If we get my camera to focus, come on, AI camera. There we go, AI camera. Let's get after it. Depression Monday. What a bummer, dude. I mean, ironically, shout out Chris Hines. See, I got it right, dude. I can't read. The chat knows I can't read. We were just talking about this the other day at work, bro. We were literally just talking about ALS just last week at work. And you know what I'm saying? You know how it is, dude. You talk about something, you think about something, and then it happens. Maybe not directly to you, but at least in the sphere. And this sucks so bad. NFL World reacts as Chris Johnson reveals ALS diagnosis, dude. Yeah, man. Like, bro, do you remember how electrifying Chris Johnson was, bro? This isn't supposed to happen. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't supposed to happen to people, period. But, like, this isn't how your career's supposed to go after, like, the career he had. You know what I'm saying? This isn't what you're... Bro, this isn't supposed to happen, bro. Former Tennessee Titans running back Chris Johnson announced he has been diagnosed with ALS during an appearance on Good Morning America on Monday. The 39-year-old revealed that the initial diagnosis was that he only had a few months left to live. However, he said in his interview with anchor Michael Strahan that it led him to find another doctor who was willing to offer up alternative solutions and gave him a Michael Strahan-sized gap in his teeth more time on this planet. They told us about a medication that might extend my life a few months, and then they told us to get our affairs in order, he said. It was hard hearing that, but after watching GMA and seeing Dr. Merritt and Eric Dane, we reached out to her. She was willing to work more creatively, offering experimental treatments that might help and advance research. Let's go ahead and just fire off a little bit of this, huh? Let's go ahead and get that copyright claim.
Johnson, touchdown!
Ooh.
Chris Johnson, one of the fastest running backs in NFL history, shattered records throughout his career.
80-yard run.
So fast, he earned the nickname CJ2K.
Chris Johnson is going to have a Titans touchdown.
He retired in 2017.
Now, I'm going to be honest, dude. You guys do see Jahmyr Gibbs style in Chris Johnson, or Chris Johnson style in Jahmyr Gibbs, right? I mean, that electrifying game-breaking speed, dude. It was, man, that was sick to watch, bro.
And has been out of the spotlight, but today he is sharing something deeply personal.
You've chosen to share some personal news today, and it takes a tremendous amount of courage to share it. What would you like for people to know?
First, I want people to know that I'm still me. ALS has changed what my body can do, but it hasn't changed who I am.
In 2025, at the age of 39, Johnson was diagnosed with ALS, the disease progressing so rapidly that he now uses his eyes to trigger a speech-generating device to speak.
Why do you want to share this now?
Because if sharing my story helps even one person get diagnosed sooner, inspires more research, or gives another family hope, then it's worth it.
Johnson says he was in the prime of his life, working out daily and running errands with his 4 children until ALS changed everything.
Let's go back to last year. When did you notice that something was off?
I first noticed weakness in my right hand. At first, it was little things like my grip didn't feel right, and I wasn't as strong as I've always been.
His wife.
And I mean, like, yo, I mean, let's be honest. All right, I'm 38. He's 39. You start to kind of feel an age. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of maybe don't pay so much mind to it. Especially, you know, look, even if you still continue to train post-pro career, how many of these guys actually maintain where they were when they were at their elite status in their mid-20s? You know what I'm saying? We're talking 10 years removed from his prime, right? His athletic prime, So, some understanding of I'm not training as hard, maybe some strength reduction, maybe some muscle mass reduction, maybe a little bit here, a little bit there. Maybe it doesn't go noticed as much, right? Maybe we need to be paying attention to these things a little bit more, fellas. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we need to be a little bit more in tune to our bodies, listening to what's going on, dude.
Wife Brittany thought it was something much simpler.
Brittany, what did you think it was at the time?
I thought because of football and, his career, that it had to be something with that, maybe a pinched nerve or something along those lines, but never ALS.
And what did doctors tell you initially about your condition?
We hoped it was something else, but after thorough testing, they finally came down with a diagnosis of ALS. They told us about a medication that might extend life by a few months. Then they told us to get our affairs in order. It was hard hearing that, but after watching Good Morning America and seeing Dr. Merritt with Eric Dane, we reached out to her. She was willing to think more creatively, offering experimental treatments that might help and advance research.
Dr. Merritt Sikovich is a neurologist and leading ALS researcher at Mass General Brigham Neuroscience Institute.
Now, this is like one of the bittersweet truths about something like this happening. Because he at least has a name recognition and a platform, my guy can direct some financial help, be it through his own earnings. They're probably going to want to invest that to prepare the family for the inevitable with ALS and offset medical bills. But because he is a name that is recognizable, he can get people to maybe donate funds to this that can, again, lead to more research. He's living proof right now that whatever experiments they tried may have helped. Right? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a dentist. I don't know how the sausage is made. But, you know what I'm saying?
Chris has been on standard of care, which is about 3 different medications that slow down the illness, but he was also part of a clinical trial, a therapy that decreases inflammation, and I think that helped him a lot.
With no family history of ALS, doctors believe his is a case of sporadic ALS, the most common form of the disease, affecting about 90% of patients, occurring randomly in people with no known family history of ALS.
Bro, ain't that a bag of dicks? Oh, don't worry. The most common form, you'll never have a family history of it. It just gets your ass. Bro. Oh, brutal.
That's one of the reasons this disease can be so shocking. It can happen to someone who never expected it.
And for me, it's shocking. It's hard to process it for me because I know you, Chris, from just the incredible athlete that you are. How do you process it?
Honestly, I don't know if you ever fully process it. At first, you're in shock. Then you realize you have 2 choices. You can give up or you can fight. I chose to fight.
And Brittany, what was it like for you when you found out that Chris had ALS?
I don't care about what it was like for her. I'm sorry. I don't like, not to be a dick, but it ain't about her. You don't have the illness. This man has the illness. Let's give a fuck about what he has to say. First, blah, 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 blah. Sucks so bad. Yeah, it's just a bunch of comments now about what people have to say. Bunch of tweets and stuff, dude. What an absolute fucking shit show, dude. Like, damn, what an absolute dick punch, bro. Good evening, Raw. How you doing, man? What's up, dude? Yes, share, baby. Appreciate it. What's up, Riley? How you doing, man? I treated a few ALS patients when I was running the analytics lab. Yeah, Brent, dude, I was wondering if you knew anything about this type of medication. I was about to give you a shout out as our resident scientist. ALS is Lou Gehrig's disease. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Is ALS Lou Gehrig's disease? Is that what that is? Is he typing? How is he doing? Oh, okay, yeah. So Pennington, he uses an eye thing. So it's a screen that tracks his eye movements, and he can select it with various firing, like the way he moves his eyes across the keyboard and stuff. That's what a lot of like people with like inabilities to like use their hands or communicate. They have different software that tracks the eyes. What's up, Dixon? My ass. She's the one that has to take care of him. My grandma had it, so I seen how it affects the whole family. For sure, dude. For sure. I get that. I do get that. Admittedly, I'd already watched the interview, and she doesn't really have anything to say. I watched it earlier today. I don't remember what I was on, one of the fucking Twitter or something, and I was just like, oh, really? It had to be CJ2K? Couldn't have been like Antonio Brown or something like that. So the Lions released Terrion Arnold. Hey, I just gotta say, meh, idiot, idiot. Dude, I need. Hang on. I got something. I got something for Terrion Arnold. Here we go. I should have pulled this up beforehand. I should have pulled this up well beforehand. Sorry, fellas, wasn't thinking.
What is the most inspiring thing I ever said to you? Don't be an idiot. Changed my life.
Terrion Arnold.
Be an idiot. Changed.
Terrion Arnold.
Don't be an idiot. Changed my life. Don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot.
That would have changed your life. If you'd have just watched The Office. If he'd have just watched The Office, but he's a Zoomer. He's a Zoomer, and the Zoomers don't watch The Office, dude. The Lions have released TA after he was arrested. After he was arrested last week on the felony charges of armed robbery and kidnapping. The team announced on Monday. Arnold had his bond set at $1 million. $1 million by Hillsborough County, Florida. Judge Christopher Sabella, who added the following conditions. He is not allowed to contact the 6 co-defendants or the witnesses in the case. No shit. I am so glad that we live in a society that has to have no diving on a 3-foot deep pool printed directly on the sides of the fucking floor, dude. And Terrion Arnold has to be told, hey, you can't talk to those people. No shit. Yeah, no shit. He must surrender his passport within 48 hours. No fleeing off to another country for you. And he was confined to his residence in Tallahassee, Florida, except for when he would be playing, training, and traveling with the Lions or making court-related appearances or legal appointments. Now, one has to wonder, do the court documents, not trying to be internet lawyer man here, but do the court documents specifically state that with the Lions? Because now he's no longer with the Detroit Lions, which means that Terrion Arnold, he's in the big trouble. You know what I'm saying? The state asked the judge to require Arnold to wear a GPS tracking device, but his attorney argued that he would not be able to play football with such a device. Don't worry, my guy. The Chiefs will sign him come Wednesday. Prosecutors had wanted Arnold held without bond. Sabella granted bond to him. Sabella said that although the charges are serious, 4 counts each for kidnapping and armed robbery, that could bring a life sentence if Arnold is convicted. Prosecutors are, quote, not there yet in showing a strong case for Arnold's guilt. Okay, well, that's, hey, there's a little bit of something for him there. Arnold, 23, has been in custody since Wednesday night when he turned himself in. We know this. He's been accused of orchestrating and the abduction and beating off of 3 men whom prosecutors believe were wrongly suspected of having stolen luxury goods and $100,000 cash from him. How does that make one feel? My guy just has walking around money. What up? Also, my guy, what are you doing? What are you? Don't be an idiot. Idiot. According to prosecutors, the victims were abducted 3 days after cash and luxury items, including Rolex watches and Louis Vuitton bags, all right, were reported stolen from Arnold's at an Airbnb rental in the Tampa area. Prosecutors say that 6 of Arnold's associates carried out the crimes by holding, beating, and pistol whipping the victims, that Arnold wasn't there at the time. None of Arnold's co-defendants had bond set for them. 2 female co-defendants have pleaded guilty and are cooperating with authorities. No surprise there. Their statements tie Arnold to the crimes, even though he was not at the apartment, according to prosecutors. Prosecutors argue that Arnold is responsible for the crimes as his co-defendant, or as responsible for the crimes as his co-defendants, because he told his associates that he thought he knew who had stolen from him, and said that he wanted to confront them, setting events in motion. Quote, our office remains committed to seeking justice for all 3 victims in the case who were beaten, robbed, and held against their will, said Aaron Maloney, a spokesperson for the state attorney's office. But Harvey Steinberg, an attorney for Arnold, well, there's a name for you, Harvey Steinberg, pulled out his small hat and argued for Arnold on Monday that prosecutors are, quote, you're not even close. You're not even close, sir. Your Honor, my client is an innocent man. If the glove does not fit, you must acquit. Not even close to showing that the player knew or directed what his associates would do. Denise Weiss said, yes, we already read that last week. The Lions selected Arnold in the first round. Nobody cares. It does, though, leave a major hole at the cornerback spot for the Lions, as he was scheduled to start opposite DJ Reed. Arnold had 2 years and $4.8 million remaining on his rookie contract. There you go. $100K is going to cost you a few $1 million, my friend, my fucking idiot friend. What an idiot, dude. What an absolute idiot, dude. Oh, like, can't you just not be stupid, bro? Can't you just, like, focus on playing fucking football? If he'd have just focused on playing fucking football, maybe he wouldn't have done this, and maybe he wouldn't have been such a bad player. You know what I'm saying? Beating off 3 men. Yes, that's what he was doing. He's accused of beating off 3 men. That's what I said. That is what I said. I know. I said what I said. Allegedly. TA allegedly beat off 3 men. TA was released to stop further distractions. I fully expect him to beat his case after his defense attorney ripped the lead detective and destroyed the prosecutor today. Well, you know, I still am glad that he's gone. God blesses you with a pair of dirty dick beaters. I guess the best places to make use in prison. There you go, Brent. Hell yeah, dude. The dumbest part of the Terrion's friends called the police, reported everything stolen before TA went to his little rampage. Yep, that's exactly it, dude. The whole situation is just stupid. It's all just stupidity on stupidity. I don't believe it would have helped TA. He was determined to get his street cred. There you go, dude. There you go. Governor Whitner kidnapped herself, so why isn't she in prison? It's a very good point, my friend. What's up, Williams, Lion King? How you doing, man? You take a YN out the ghetto, but you can't get the ghetto out the YN. You know, dude, I have a slightly more politically correct version that you might be able to get away with at work, and that is you can take the hood booger out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the hood booger. You know what I'm saying, bro? It's just a slightly more less super hardcore way of saying it, but, you know. It's in line with like small hat. You know, you don't really want to be saying it at work unless, you know, your HR department is non-existent. If not, you're probably going to get a little talking to, dude, especially, you know, if you follow the money. Just kidding, dude. I'm just kidding. So, I got to give a shout out Raw. my guy Raw has been fair and just. I will give you this, dude. I will give Raw. You have been standing on business about not necessarily defending TA, but keeping an open mind. And let's. I did find this. I was thinking about you. TA's pretrial hearing offers a revealing look at the case against him. Yeah, I'll be honest. It doesn't look that strong. Yeah, it really doesn't. There's maybe we're gonna need to get our mommy sleuths. Okay, there's something there. We don't know, but we know. You know, Charlie Kirk came to me in a dream and told me this. He is involved in some capacity because there is at least the data trail of the live stream to his phone, which is fucking weird. Now, you know, if people want to do Black Mirror shit on their own and he was just watching it, getting off to it or whatever, yeah, that's fucking weird. But it doesn't mean you necessarily orchestrated the whole fucking thing. I don't know, man. I'm going to let it go ahead and play itself out. Though personally, I am of the old school approach of I don't like the fucking distractions. And over the last few weeks, yeah, I don't think he's all that great of a player. I think we got plenty of viable options on roster already. And there are some, names that have been kind of floated out there on the free agent market. But let's see what the slipper old Mike Payton's got for us. The legal process surrounding Lions cornerback TA took another step forward this week. Arnold's facing multiple felonies stemming from an alleged armed robbery and kidnapping. Yes, he pleaded not guilty, and the case is now working its way through the court system. On Monday, Arnold appeared in a court for pretrial hearing where both sides provided an update on where things stand and what comes next. Here are the 4 biggest takeaways from what we learned. Prosecutors laid out a theory that Arnold helped plan the confrontation before it happened. The state's theory is strictly based on the idea that Arnold was who set the plan in motion. And while he may not have, quote, quarterbacked, the plan once it was underway, it was Arnold who went to his friends to state that he believed he knew who had robbed his Airbnb and suggested bringing those people to a place where they could confront them. The state's strongest evidence appears to be a co-defendant and a witness testimony, not direct physical evidence, which is not always going to be your strongest case. In reality, memory sucks for humans. It's true. There does not seem to be very much physical evidence that supports the idea that Arnold was there or involved. There is no evidence at this time that shows Arnold entered the home or was there in front of the victims. However, there is testimony that says the incident was live streamed over FaceTime and that Arnold sat in a car outside the home and watched the FaceTime. The defense repeatedly argued Arnold never instructed anyone to assault or kidnap the victims. The defense's argument seems to stem less from the idea that Arnold knew about the incident or even watched it, but from the lack of evidence, whether it be physical or otherwise, that Arnold directed any of the other individuals to attack or kidnap the victims. Arnold's defense team had a special witness to help show that Arnold is not a flight risk. He still has to surrender his passport, though. Arnold's team brought a family friend, Kristen Erica White, who identifies herself as general counsel for the Florida State court system, but was there strictly from a personal standpoint and not a professional one. She stood up for Arnold as a character witness to demonstrate that he is a stand-up individual. I'm glad he's not sitting down, who should not be held without bail or bond and is not a flight risk. The state argued against that, believing that Arnold should not receive bond, which of course he got, and it is what it is. But as you can see, I hate to say it, but based on this picture alone, that woman is a liar. Do you understand? He is clearly sitting down. She said he is a stand-up person. The evidence is right there, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I rest my case. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I only have to ask you one question. If Chewbacca is an 8-foot Wookiee, what is he doing running around on a planet with 3-foot Ewoks? It makes no sense. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it makes no sense. Now look at the monkey. Oh, fuck, fellas. How we doing? Holy crappers. Yo, Jody, what's going on? How you doing, sister? Appreciate that. Thank you so much with the big super chat. He's cooked whether he is innocent or not. Where there is smoke, there's fire. I think he was associated in some way. I agree with you. That's what I said. That's why I mean, like, we don't know if there's anything there. But it does seem that there's something there, which, again, the indication to me is that there's enough there and Brad Holmes has enough information that he's just like, fuck this, dude. Fuck this. I'm not going to let it play out. I'm just done. What I think probably happened is that there's something that Brad Holmes found out that isn't public yet, some form of evidence that he knows and TA is directly lying to him about. But TA doesn't know that he knows. I think Brad knows, or maybe Dan knows, somebody knows something that isn't public yet that is far too detrimental to TA, whether it be legally or character-wise, which, I mean, we can get off on, ironically, no pun intended. Maybe he is doing some weird Black Mirror shit. Maybe he is gooning to kidnapping smut porn. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he didn't orchestrate it. Maybe for real he is just a weirdo, dude. Just a weirdo. I hope that's not the case. But based on the actions taken by the Lions and the fact that I'm pretty sure they're going to go after his bonuses and stuff, I'm pretty sure that they know something that TA doesn't know that they know, and he is lying to their faces about. That's what I would think has happened based on Brad Holmes' actions. He didn't fart around with Cameron Sutton, dude. He didn't fart around with TA. However, look. Remember this? Do you guys remember, like a year or two ago? I think it was the off season of his first 1K year. You guys remember when JMO got in trouble for mild interaction with the police, where he maybe had an illegal firearm, but it was just basically illegally being transported or not properly stored? You remember how that transpired? That could have been very detrimental to Jameson Williams, right? Now, obviously, that all shook out a certain way, but theoretically, he was open, transparent, and everything that he said checked out with Brad Holmes. You know what I'm saying? In this situation, hypothetically, TA is clear. He is merely a martyr. Poor TA, not only legally, but in the court of public opinion. We've all cast our stones, right? There is that option. But maybe he's lying to Brad Holmes about something. And Brad Holmes is like, no, I'm not doing it. Because you can't say he just cut short leashes on players. Again, Jameson Williams. You know what I'm saying? The play of Brian Branch on the field. The penalties. The fines. Transparent. Open and honest. Something doesn't smell right, dude. Like you say, Jody, where there's smoke, there's fire. You know what I'm saying, dude? I completely agree with you. Basically, TA is not good enough for the headache. Exactly, dude. Yeah, that's exactly it. That either he's not good enough for the headache, or they're lying to him about something. Puka Nacua hit a lady this offseason, but you don't see him on trial. TA's poor spotty play got him released. Yeah, dude. Or look at, like, Josh Jacobs. You know, there is, unfortunately, in American culture, the better you are at your very elite craft, the more leeway you have. There is always multiple tiers to a judicial system here. You know, TA has money, but TA doesn't have second contract money. Does that make sense? TA has clout as a first-round pick, but he never produced enough to have any type of grace. And look at the play on the field. Look at how it was it's not a look. It wasn't a popular opinion to stand and defend TA, right? I get where you guys were coming from. A lot of you guys in the draft process were like, fuck that. Fuck him. I get it. I was trying to stand, give him a little bit of grace here, a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, a little bit of maybe he could be that guy that we've seen flashes of at the back end of his rookie year, before, pre-injury, right? But, ifs and buts or candies and nuts. You keep fucking up on the field. You keep fucking up off the field. Don't be an idiot. It's pretty simple. You were an idiot. What have you done for me lately? Headache. Not being on the field. Nothing. You're a distraction off the field now, and you're not even on the fucking field. I'm done with you. Go on now. You know what I'm saying? And not for nothing, do you think that Brad Holmes didn't try shopping him around? Do you think there wasn't some phone calls made to organizations? Hey, you got a ham sandwich? Hey, you got an old can of Spam kicking around? Hey. Which means that people know something. The NFL knows something, right? Somebody knows something. Hey, now the NFL does not disapprove of hitting women. Packers running back just another. There you go, dude. Hope no more TA thumbs, dude. Yeah, bro, for real. And he came down to Ford's letting him go. Hey, you know what, dude? You know what? Pennington? Possible. What's up, Sticks? How you doing? Shout out. Both the Canadians are in here tonight. He needed oven mitts to even play, was targeted and got penalties, seemed like every play. Dude, I agree. He has enough money not to go to jail, but us poors would already be in a cell. Oh, 100%, dude. 100%, dude. Appreciate you guys in the comments, Jody. Super duper duper. Thank you for the super chat. That's super awesome of you, sister. I really, really do appreciate the support. One has to wonder, because now we're going to get into the money side of things here, guys. So Rod Wood was supposed to be moving on, right? Was still kind of dragging his feet. And what does he have a real thumb up his ass about doing? Going after people's money, dude. Right? Look what he did to CJ. You know what I'm saying? Old Megatron. The Fords are pretty greedy with their money, dude. And if they have just cause to go after it, they're going to find a reason to go after it. And TA, I think he's going to be squiggly screwed out of some dollary dues here. I think the Lions are going to be a little greedy. And, personally, I think justifiably so, dude. I think the major reason TA said he would keep hanging out with these types of people. Yeah, there you go, dude. You're just going to... Brad Holmes says, you're going to keep doing hood booger shit? Fine, just stay down there in the hood and do hood booger shit. I ain't got time for this shit. Salary cap ramifications for TA's release. Here we go on Monday. Yes, we know this. Arnold leaves. Just 2 years left with the Lions. In 2024, the Lions selected him with their first-round pick, and he subsequently signed a fully guaranteed 4-year, $14.3 million deal. Idiot. Oh, my God. What an idiot, dude. What an idiot. Let's discuss the financial ramifications. What was left on Arnold's contract? In 2026, he would have gotten just a cool base salary of $1.2 million, $1.8 million of a signing bonus proration from $7.2 million signing bonus at start of contract. He'd have gotten a meager $825,000 signing bonus. Altogether, a cap hit of about $3.9 million. But you had to go get your Rolex and your Louis Vuitton. Would have made a cool $2.7 million salary next year with $1.8 million at signing and a total hit of about $4.5 million. Boy, doesn't it feel good to pay less. So I'm going to start calling TA, call him pay less. These would have been the cap hits per year if Arnold stayed on the team, but because his contract was terminated early, it changes things significantly. Detroit has the option to void the remaining guarantees in his contract due to Arnold's player conduct. But let's put that aside for a second. If this was just a normal release, here's what the Lions would have had happen. This is just a normal release. It would have been a total of about $6 million paid out to him and about $1.8 million paid out next year. In short, the Lions would have owed $8.4 million in dead cap for Arnold. That's how much he would have cost to stay on the team for the next 2 years. But instead, the split being at $3.9 million this year and $4.6 next year, most of that money accelerates to this year's cap, eating up about $2.75 million extra in 2026, but freeing up that same amount in next year's cap. But what if the Lions void Arnold's remaining guarantees? It is almost certain that the Lions have filed Arnold's release with the intention to recoup his remaining guarantees. It is quite common language in contracts for players to forfeit their guarantees for conduct detrimental to the team. In their CBA Article 4, Section 9, the teams will often come after that money, whether there has been a suspension or a conviction. The Lions did this in Cameron Sutton in 2024. What a bad year for Lions corners. However, Sutton subsequently filed a grievance, and there was a belief settlement was eventually made. But the finances of said agreement were not made public. Arnold, via the NFL Players Associations, will have the opportunity to do so as well. But for now, let's just assume the Lions voided the guarantees. What does that mean? Well, obviously, they wouldn't have to pay out either of the remaining salaries on Arnold's contract. So Arnold's $1.273974 salary in 2026 and $2.750961 in 2027 would come off the books immediately. What's less clear is everything else. It's unclear whether Arnold's $825,000, meager $825,000 roster bonus triggers. And it's also not evident if Detroit would come after Arnold's remaining two signing bonus prorations of $3.6 million in total. For now, let's assume the roster bonus signing prorations stay with Arnold. Detroit would recoup about $4 million of remaining salary on Arnold's contract, and his year-by-year cap hit would look like this. We would only be on the hook for about $2.6 million in 2026 and $1.8 million in 2027. Much more palatable. So the Lions would actually gain about $1.3 million in cap this year and about $2.7 million next year. And the way Brad Holmes does business, that's 3 dudes. If the Detroit Lions recoup the roster signing bonuses, that would be another $4.45 million in cap relief. And what if Arnold files a grievance? If the Lions voided the guarantees, then Arnold may file a grievance with the team. When that happens, 40% of the contested salary would end up counting against the cap until a settlement or ruling is made. If the Lions win the grievance, they'll get cap credit for that 40%. If Arnold wins it, the remaining 60% will be charged to the Lions cap. Here's a fully explanation. We're not going to read the CBA language because, gentlemen, that shit is boring as hell. If you want to read it, there is a link to all articles read tonight in the show down in the description below. Feel free to click around down there and do what you want. I do appreciate each and every one of you who managed to take the time. And holy shit, Jody, what are you doing, sister? Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Jody. Whoa. I appreciate you. Damn, girl. You make me feel like a pretty little lady, dude. Wow. Another dunno because it's been a while because I want to. I love your channel, you and Hat and Boobs and your mom. Thank you, sister. I appreciate that. I don't know where my mom's at tonight. She'll probably watch afterwards. Hat and Boobs, she's watching on YouTube on the TV downstairs for background noise, and then she's got actually Rumble pulled up on her phone as well. So I appreciate you, Jody. I wondered if everything was good, if you were all right. I'm glad to see you're still kicking around. It's the off season, so I totally understand where people have been. But sister, my lord, Thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate that. It helps out a lot. You know what I'm saying, dude? We're climbing, dude. We're slowly just trying to claw our way to that 1,000 subscriber mark. You know, and realistically, when content creators hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, it's like YouTube just like unlocks the gates, dude. You know what I'm saying, bro? So we're getting there. I appreciate that. That's super huge of you. You know, you guys, I really like, I don't want you guys to feel obligated to donate, but it's super awesome. I really appreciate that, especially on today, dude. What a bummer series of stories. Today was just like a bummer ass Wednesday, dude. It's all hot as shit outside, dude. TA got cut, justifiably so, but TA's an idiot. And then Chris Johnson, bro, like, dude, what a bummer, man. Like, I'll be real. I'm a Titans fan, dude. I liked Eddie George, dude. I liked the Thunder and Lightning they had with Lendell White. Unfortunately, he ate his way out of the league, dude. And poor Chris Johnson, you know, shouldering the load. He did all right, man. He was electric. What was his numbers overall, dude? What was Chris Johnson's numbers, bro? Chris Johnson. Stats. NFL. He was the 24th overall pick out of what? East Carolina, right? Yeah, because he was Conference USA, dude. Damn, bro. Was that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive years over 1,000 yards, bro? And in 2009, he went for over 2,014 tugs, bro. Wow. On 358 carries. Damn, bro. That is a workload. And what happened here? Oh, he went to the Jets. But look at this. Kind of bounced back in Arizona. 11 games, 800 yards. Dude, look at these averages, bro. 4.9, 5.6, 4.3, 4, 4.5, 3.9. That was his last year in Tennessee. Still went over 1,000 yards, dude, and 6 touchdowns. 4.3 with the Jets. Not bad. 4.2, 3.8, and then Arizona. Oh, back-to-back seasons of only 4 games, dude. Bam, bam. Damn, dude. 9,651 yards, 55 rushing touchdowns, bro. And then another 2,000 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns. What was that, 64 career touchdowns, 1,100 yards? What was that? 8, 11, almost 1,200, almost 12,000 yards, dude. Damn, bro. And he only had 1 pass attempt in his entire career. Hey, look at these. He got some tackles. Look at these tackles. Damn, dude. In 2009, Chris Johnson was all over the field, dude. Look at that. He had 3 solo tackles along with 2,000 rushing yards. Damn, bro. That's some production. That just sucks, dude. What an absolute bummer of a situation, man. Yeah, this right here. This sucks so bad. Ain't that just like exactly it, dude? This sucks so bad, dude. What a bummer, bro. What an absolute bummer. Was my go-to in the old Madden fantasy. Bro. CJ2K was kind of like almost Michael Vick style of cheat code, bro, because he was so fast, dude. So fast. Bro, Jack, I'm with you on that, Jack. I really hope that the Lions don't just like ground Gibbs into dust, bro. And I don't think that's going to happen. I know that everyone's like, oh, Jahmyr Gibbs is just going to massive uptick. No. That's why Pacheco was brought in, dude. Pacheco was brought in for passing downs. Pacheco was brought in for short yardage grinder, dude. Bro. I'm telling you, Isaiah Pacheco is going to be used like Marion the Barbarian, dude. It's going to be electrifying, bro. Gibbs isn't going to be used the way that everyone... He's going to have the production, but but that's because he's going to be so electrifying with the 1-2 punch, dude. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I hope not, dude. I hope not. I agree with you, Jody. Jack, exactly, dude. Johnson was one of the few 4-2 guys who had a great career. Bro, Pennington, that's a very good point, dude. That's something that no one ever really talks about, bro. People get so fascinated with the combine speed, dude. Pennington Sasquatch, good point. That is a very good point, dude. People get so fascinated with speed at the Underwear Olympics. John Ross. Where's John Ross? Right? Wheels, dude. So fast. They turn. Oh, look at the speed, dude. Look at how fast he can run in a straight line in his underwear. Can he catch the ball? Don't worry about that. Can he can he cut? Don't worry about that. Like how fast he runs. Wow. That's a good point, dude. Chris Johnson, one of the very few like honest 4-2 guys. Like there is no there are guys who it's like, yeah, they got kind of 4-2 speed, but it's like no. Chris Johnson is 4-2. When you watch the naked eye without the clock, you're like, that is 4-2 speed. Pads on, 4-2 speed. In the rain, 4-2 speed. On a track, 4-2 speed. Uphill, 4-2 speed. Downhill, 4-2 speed because he can control himself. Well, he could. Can't anymore. Oh, I'm an asshole. But it just sucks, dude. He's one of the very few 4-2 speed guys that could actually not only get it done, but get it done. I mean, we've seen it. What was it fucking 8 straight years from like 08 to what was it, 2015? So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 6, 7 years, 8, 9, 6, 7. Oh, look at me go. I'm a zoomer. Of just absolute 1,000 yards. Then he went to the Jets. Still almost put up a K, dude. Come on now. Production. Electrifying. Fun to watch. Super devastating story, dude. Absolutely with the headlines. This sucks so bad. Gentlemen and ladies, I want to shout out the ladies. I want to shout out the ladies over there here in the Mad Hatter Nation. You know, I know there's quite a few of you, and sometimes a little bit more low key than the others. But I want a big shout out, Jody, with the heavy hitting on the super chats. Jody, damn, that was awesome. People are saying the Lions going to be hurting for a certain this year. I'm a bit worried too. They got rid of Montgomery. Why then? David Montgomery is mutually beneficial for the Lions, dude. I think that that David Montgomery, the best thing for David Montgomery was to be free someplace else. You remember when Free Willy came out, dude? And it was really sad to watch Free Willy jump over the rocks, but you knew it was ultimately the best thing, at least narratively, for him, dude. Let Shamu jump over the rocks, dude, and back into the river or the ocean where he belongs so he can go be with his family, dude. Totally would be a bad thing to have happen. But you know what I'm saying? That's what we have to do with David Montgomery. We have to stand with our hand up in the air while he jumps over us, dude. And Michael Jackson music plays. You know what I'm saying? And just be like, go. You know what I'm saying? We got to just let him go and be free, dude. And we got, some draft capital. And more importantly, look, the very undervalued thing with the David Montgomery trade. Not only is it mutually beneficial for him, Juice Scruggs gets a shot. Both to play and maybe in the ass. Maybe in a little unlockage, dude. Gets to come here, dude. A little bit of a rebuild. And honestly, I don't know why people sleep on Isaiah Pacheco so hard, dude. He's a really talented running back. He runs angrily. He punishes the ground, dude. You know what I'm saying? Monty may request to come back when he sees how good our O-line is this year. Yeah, when he doesn't have to do the majority of the fucking pass blocking because our O-line won't be just Swiss cheese, dude. Bro, our O-line is going to be so fucking good, dude. The biggest question about our O-line is how good are we going to be and how much better are we going to be when Block A. Miller starts at right tackle. I don't know if Miller's is gonna start week 1, if I'm being honest with you. I got a feeling that they're just gonna let the vet take the first few games, just kind of no need to rush Block. You know what I'm saying, dude? 34 meaning Anzo. I know he's not young, but he was still doing awesome things for our team. I don't get it. It's sad. I think last year's off-season distraction ultimately sealed his fate, dude. I think that Brad Holmes and the Lions were like, look, you gotta take a pay cut and whatever that was going to be wasn't satisfactory. Similar to Taylor Decker, dude. They were like, look, we got to invest future dollars elsewhere, and we have to clear up some cap space. We got to get Jack under contract. We got to get Jameer under contract. You know what I'm saying, dude? And they're just like, maybe, whether it, like, I liked Alex Anzalone, dude. He was a fan favorite here at the Hat and Beard House. You know what I'm saying? But, like, if you're not willing to take the cut, and maybe it was ego, you know what I'm saying? Look at Taylor Decker, dude. They're, like, very openly, you had to take a pay cut, and he's like, get fucked. And they're like, all right. You know what I'm saying? It's all about freeing up those future dollars because we have a big salary cap crunch coming in when, getting these guys under contract for now. And all we're really seeing is Brad Holmes making moves to kind of free up some dollary dues. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Cody, ALS is not something not cool. ALS is not cool, bro. It's awful. It's fucking terrible. It's fucking like what? Like, I'm not trying to like make it seem worse. Like, to me, ALS sounds like one of the worst things that could ever happen to somebody. You just become a prisoner in your body. Chris Johnson actually says in it that, like, he's like, the worst part is that my mind is still sharp. Like, you're just trapped in your fucking body, dude. Your mind doesn't deteriorate, but your body just fucking and to see the fall off from a world class, all fucking NFL first team player to just literally I'm not trying to be like mean, but look at the picture of him there right here, right? Look at this picture of him, world-class athlete, and then you see him in the video, literally a shriveled husk of a man. Awful. Absolutely awful, dude. That's why this right here, like, that is all you can say is just, this sucks so bad. It's just terrible, dude. Just absolute fucking awful, dude. AA wanted 11 to 13 million, didn't you? Yeah, I think he wanted Barnes money, and to be fair, I could have gone maybe as high as about 8 million. I'm gonna need about 350. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna need about 350. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be from 55 to 75, so he got it. Yeah, dude, that's what I thought. I'm not I'm not a dentist, so I don't understand these kinds of things. But, like, it was my understanding that it kind of hits a little bit later in life. Not like 30, 38, 39, bro. Fucking brutal, dude. Which, also, hey, you know what? I'm not trying to be that guy, but, like, maybe because Tim Shaw, I think, also got it from Tennessee. I'm not saying there's something in Tennessee. Maybe there's something to the expedition, the acceleration of ALS from contact sports, right? It's got to be something neurological, right? So maybe something to do with the contact combat sport, the repeated pounding. Maybe that just, like, accelerates it, dude. I don't know. All I know is that if I was Cam Ward, I'd be like, I want out. I'm Cam Ward. I play football, and I don't want to play football here no more. I don't want ALS. I'm good. Thank you. Trade me, please. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's show. I appreciate each and every one of you who stopped by, who commented. Jody, freaking MVP tonight. Wow. Damn, sister. Seriously, you make a guy feel real special. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, brain injuries, but also toxins or diet. That's, dude, Cody, that's what I'd be saying, dude. Alzheimer is just diabetes type 3, bro. It is just it's diabetes type 3, if you actually look at it. But yeah, you're not wrong, dude. You're not wrong. But yeah, Cam Ward, I'd be like, I want the fuck out, dude. Get me the fuck out of here, dude. Thanks, Hat and Beard. No, Jody, thank you, dude. I'd do this for you guys, man. Yeah, honestly, y'all make it so easy. I'm not even trying, like, like, there are times, guys, where I don't want to do a show, and it's like, but I also want to come hang out with you guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to do, like, a parasocial thing or whatever, but like, especially in the off season, man, you guys make it easy, bro. You guys make it easy to, like, just kind of yuck it up some days. And it's going to be like this until we get into the swing of things, you know what I'm saying? Research indicates professional athletes, particularly in sports with high rates of repeated head trauma like football and soccer, face a higher risk of developing amyotrophic ramific lateral sclerosis, which I'm assuming is ALS. Boy, did you enjoy hearing me read that? I am an idiot. Okie skilly okie do. I'm an idiot. You sure are. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful rest of your night. Stay out of trouble. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Until next time at 7 p.m., which would be tomorrow, will be our next show. I've been Hat and Beard. You've been an attentive audience. I'm sorry. I'm James of the Hat and Beard Show. You've been an attentive audience. We'll catch you next time. Bonga bonga. Frig off.